Hey Bootu, this is Lady Brown. This is my part 2 video of Arrow Season 5, Episode 8, titled Invasion. We're almost done, I promise. I left off part 1 where they pretty much escaped the dream hallucination, the shared hallucination, and they awaken in their pods on the ship. And, they're trying to sneak around the ship, trying to, get a feel, try to find a way out of there, right? And unfortunately, as they round a corner, there's a bunch of Dominators right there, like, oh my god, right? They have no weapons, and Oliver picks up this, looks like an alien-looking gun thing, a laser-like gun, alien, it's obviously like alien tech, and he manages to operate it and shoot some of the Dominators running out, trying to find a way to escape, and they manage to find, like, what seems to be like an alien ship shuttle thing kind of thing, and, they all sit there and they're trying to figure out how to get out of this, how to operate this thing, and they managed to escape in that little spaceship shuttle thing, but they ended up getting chased by a bunch of other aliens in their ships, and they're like, you know what, we gotta learn how to steer this thing, otherwise we're not gonna last long, and fortunately for them, they end up getting rescued by the Wave Rider. Remember, in the previous episodes for the Invasion crossover, there were at least 2 heroes left behind from the Legends team when they all first met up. And those 2 are Nate, who is Citizen Steel, and Amaya, who is Vixen. Sarah said herself the moment they all met together in the Star Labs facility thing, Sarah mentioned that Nate and Amaya are back at the Wave Rider, 1, to watch over the Wave Rider, and 2, because they're newbies. So I'm only guessing that at least 1 or both of them are operating the Wave Rider that pretty much rescued our 5 captive heroes. And we only see Nate, though. We don't see Amaya on the ship. She obviously is on the ship. I'm only guessing mainly because they were the only ones left on the ship up until this episode. So I'm guessing Amaya's there, but we don't really see her in the episode. I'm only guessing she's on the ship, though. But they get rescued by the Wave Rider, and Ray deduces that the Dominators were gathering information from their minds, right? Particularly, he believes that they weren't chosen at random. They were chosen for a reason because they couldn't fight back. I had predicted that those 5 in particular were picked off mainly because those 5 are not metahumans. But then I questioned it because there are others there that are not metahumans. Like, hang on, wait. Mick Rory, aka Heatwave, he's not a meta. He just has a fire gun. You take the gun away from him, he's just human, right? I know for some aliens it may look like he's a meta because he's spurting out fire, but just take the gun away, he's normal human. So that's why I'm kind of surprised that Mick wasn't captured, you know what I mean? But whatever, I guess they thought that maybe Mick might have been a meta-human only because he has a fire gun thingy, which they could easily taken away from him. He's not a meta, he's not alien or a meta, but okay. But apparently that's what Ray deduces. He's like, they took us for a reason because we couldn't fight back like the metahumans because we're not metahumans. And the Dominators took us because they're gathering information, maybe about metas or something. And so he also overheard 2 of the Dominators talking, and he actually asked Gideon to translate something that one of the Dominators said on the ship. And Gideon translated it to the weapon's almost ready or something like that. And another thing Ray deduced was the fact that the Dominators were using the hallucination mainly as a distraction to help complete what Gideon translated as a special weapon, right? And the team also learns from Gideon, the team that's on the Wave Rider, that they learned that the actual Dominator mothership is literally heading toward Earth. And there you go. This episode was not as... It was kind of lackluster compared to The Flash, because The Flash was absolutely amazing. But I guess they had to tone it down a little bit, because, Arrow's always been the darker of the shows. Like, You compare Arrow to the Flash. Who's the darker one? Arrow. You compare Arrow to Supergirl. Who's the darker one? Arrow. Heck, you could even compare Arrow to Legends, and Arrow's still the darkest of all four CW DC shows. And I guess they wanted to match the mood of this episode to the fact that Arrow is the darkest of all four shows. I don't know. But yeah, it was more mellowed down than the Flash. The Flash was like boom, 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 like craziness everywhere, and it was amazebeans. And I'm not saying that this episode wasn't amazing in its own right. It's kind of like how people complained about Supergirl's episode that led up to Invasion, which was Medusa. A lot of people said, "Oh, this is not really a four-show crossover. You only see Barry and Cisco at the end of the episode. Why would you count it?" And it's like, technicality, Medusa was also the mid-season finale of season 2, so they kind of had to put that first in front of Invasion because it's the mid-season finale. So that's why majority of it they focused more on Supergirl instead of the actual 4-show crossover because, like I said, it's the mid-season finale. Of course, they had to focus on mainly Supergirl instead of, the rest of the characters for the Invasion. It led into the Invasion. I can't really describe, but I know, I think it was Greg Berlanti or Mark Guggenheim. Guggenheim. I can never pronounce Mark's last name. I'm going to call him Mark G from now on. Mark G or Greg Berlanti. One of those two mentioned the reason why it was like at least 98% to 99% Supergirl and like 1 to 2% 4-show crossover. One of them actually explained it, and I believe it was because the main reason was because Medusa was in fact the mid-season finale, and they had to focus more on the actual show itself. But anyway, I liked the episode. It was interesting to see what would have happened if both Oliver and even Sarah did not go on the Gambit all those years ago, and to see Ray's life, how he'd be affected, the fact that he's business partner with Oliver's dad and Felicity is his fiance, and then also, Thea's happy, her family's together, they have their home, they're alive. Diggle ended up being Green Arrow and is partnered with Felicity. How did that happen, first off? Because in the hallucination, Ray and Felicity are engaged, and she's like working alongside Diggle, who is the Green Arrow. How did that happen? How did they meet in the hallucination, first and foremost? And first, another thing I like to shout out was, it was really cool to see Oliver's dad, to see the mom, Morba Queen, again. I love the actress who played Morba. It's so nice to see her again. She looks really good with long hair, too. I'm not gonna lie. It was so good to see Katie Cassidy as Laura Lance again, because Lord knows everybody missed our Black Canary. And to see her in the wedding dress, though, really nice. I like. It was really interesting to see a what if. This hallucination was basically a what if story, and it was really cool to see. I like that part, and I like the geeking out of Felicity and Cisco, a little bit of Curtis too, especially when they were tinkering with that alien technology. But it was really cool also to see Merlin, Deathstroke, and Damien Dark. Really cool to see them, because we all know, like, dead. And at the end, though, when they were leaving their shared hallucination, Oliver was the last one. He lingered a little bit, and he turned around, and he saw all his loved ones. He saw both of his parents. He saw Laurel. He saw Tommy. And ironically enough, he also saw Roy, which I thought was pretty funny, because I'm pretty sure Roy's not dead. At least I hope he's not dead. But the fact that we saw Roy there also, along with all of the people that basically everyone he saw was everyone Oliver cared about, that apparently is either permanently no longer in his life or temporarily. And God, I hope Roy's not dead, because if it's all the people that Oliver sees are people he cares about that are like permanently dead, I'd be like, what happened to Roy? How did he die, right? So I'm only guessing that the people he saw before he got out of that hallucination are people that he cared about that are either permanently no longer in his life, like dead, like his parents and Laurel and Tommy, and or people who are no longer in his life that are temporarily out of his life, which is Roy, because remember, he's on the run, hiding. So it was really cool to see, like, people who have died in the past seasons of Arrow come back. And to even see Roy's face, that was pretty cool. Apparently, the people that played Roy Harper, Colton, and also the guy who played Tommy, I forgot his name, because of their scheduling, because of their busy schedules, they could not make it to this episode. So I thought it was really cool that the people managed to, I forgot what they did, but they took some footage from previous seasons and managed to mold it in there, because when you see those people toward the end, when Oliver's about to leave, they all look kind of like, you know the, what you call it, the original trilogy of Star Wars? Remember when Luke, at the end of episode 6, he sees Obi-Wan Kenobi, he sees Yoda, and at the end he sees Anakin Skywalker, and they're like ghostly, see-through-ish blue glow around them. It was kind of like that for all of them when Oliver was about to leave. And so it was really cool how they did that. And obviously we know why the guy playing Tommy couldn't make it, because he's in his own show. I believe it's called Chicago PD, which I thought was funny because in the episode in the hallucination in this episode, they made a nod to that, because apparently there's a moment where Malcolm Merlin's talking to Thea in the hallucination, and Thea's like, I can't believe that Tommy's a doctor now. And at one point, Merlin's like, I wish that he could... Thea's like, I can't believe he's a doctor now. I wish he was here. And then at one point, Malcolm retaliates saying, yeah, I know, but you know, Chicago is pretty far away. And I was like, did they seriously make a pun to the actor who plays Tommy? The fact that he now is in the show called, I believe, Chicago Med or Chicago PD or something like that? That was funny. That was a really good nod. I love that. But anyway, it was very heartfelt, especially that moment with Oliver and Thea when he was trying to convince Thea we had to get out of the hallucination. It was beautiful, especially the end when Oliver lingered before leaving the hallucination and saw all his loved ones there, with the exception of Roy, with Roy also, which I thought, again, I thought was really weird. But yeah, I liked the hallucination because it was literally a giant what-if story, and I liked seeing all the ones that were either all the people that have left the show either because their character was dead, or, of course, Colton Hayes, aka Roy Harper's case, on the run. So it was really cool to see some familiar faces that have left the show back again, despite the fact that 2 of them could not make it, which was Tommy and Roy's actors, respectively. But they still managed to get their faces there, which is really cool. Anyway, I like this episode. I really do. And I really like the ending, which was Legends, and I most likely will have that episode soon. I will have that recorded at least before Saturday, and hopefully maybe latest have it uploaded by Saturday. But anyway, this is my reaction my part 2 video to Arrow Season 5 Episode 8 titled Invasion. See ya, Bootu.